Hello fellow Sudokans and welcome to Zen and the Art of the Guardian Sudoku Puzzle. It's Monday the 25th of March 2024. I hope you are keeping well, enjoying life, and you've had a good weekend. It might still possibly be weekend where you are. If it is, continue enjoying it because you probably haven't got much time left to finish it. It's Monday here in Bangkok, and for regulars to the channel, you know that I often talk about my cat Joni. And my cat Joni was adopted, came into my house bleeding as a tiny kitten, and that I've adopted most of the dozen cats that I've owned over the years. I only have one cat at the moment, but over the years, over my lifetime, I've had a dozen cats, and most of them were adopted. The ones that weren't were born into my arms, actually. But anyway, I mention this because in British Columbia, in Canada, a man has called for help. He started adopting cats during the COVID pandemic, and as a kind-hearted gentleman, he started to take in cats that he felt sorry for, and didn't stop, and now has got around 300 of them. When asked how many cats he had, he said it was like counting bubbles in boiling water. Oh dear, just couldn't be sure how many he had. So anyway, after his experience of doing this, he's had to call for help to the Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals, who have tried to assist him in some ways. Apparently, though, there are a lot of kittens there. I think he said he became overwhelmed. I can imagine, and I can imagine how much it must have cost in food. And other expenses. So thank you for him on behalf of your cats, because they'll never say thank you, so I'll say thank you on behalf of those cats. But I'm glad that you've called in the help that you will desperately need after, and you probably need some psychological help as well after all that, I reckon. Anyway, let's get on with the game of Sudoku. Now, this is a Monday, so it's a beginner's game. I always explain the rules of Sudoku because we have beginners on a Monday, so it's always an easy level game. So quickly, how do we play this game of Sudoku, which is a fun pastime? There are 9 squares in every single row in this large 9x9 grid. There are 9 squares in every column in this 9x9 grid. That makes sense, doesn't it, in terms of English and logic? And there are also 9 squares in these small outlined grids of 3x3. Okay, so what's the game about? Well, you can see numbers placed here. You might be wondering if it's a game of maths. It's not a game of maths, or math if you're American. It's a game of logic, and we use logic to find out where to put numbers between 1 and 9. 1 is our lowest digit. We have just one digit, number 1, on this board, and up to number 9, and we have several 9s placed already. We are because there are 9 squares in each row, and in each column, each row, and in each of these small blocks. It means the numbers can appear once only in each row, column, or block. So there's a 6 and a 9 here, and a 3 in this block here. In this row there's a 6, 9, 2, 7, so we're looking for the other numbers to fit here. And in this column we have 6, 9 again, and 8 and 1, so we're looking for all of the other numbers that can fit into this column. That's it, really. That's all you need to understand, except that, as I say, well, don't guess the answer, just use logic to find the answer. How do we go about it? Let's consider this block down here, which has a cross of empty squares. Now, I noticed that this we have 9, 6, 3, and 4. What we don't have is a 2. We don't have a digit 2 here yet. And when we consider the surrounding 2s outside this block, we notice this one here, and we notice this one here, and these are going to help us. So because we have 2 in this row already, it means that none of these 3 squares can be 2, because we already have 2 in this row. Also, that can't be 2, or that can't be 2, but we're not interested in that for the moment, so 2's across here. We have 2 in this row here, blocking across like this. When I say blocking, I mean forbidding any other 2's. And now there's only one empty square left in this block here, so immediately we can say that the 2 must go in that square, because there's only one possibility. If you find one empty square where the digit can go, that's where it goes. There's nothing else to do after that. Let's continue with the 2's. Now this 2 that we just placed now forbids these 3 squares from becoming 2. None of these 3 can become 2. We've also got a 2 in this row here, stopping those 2 squares from becoming 2. And we've got a 2 up here, stopping this square from becoming a 2. So what do we know? We've got 2 blocked here, blocked down there, 1 empty square. We know that that is going to be our 2. We don't have to think any more about it. Now, in fact, there's another 2 that we can get over here. We've got 2 blocking across here like this. And we've got 2 from down here, up here, and down here, up here. And that's going to give us just 1 empty square. You might have noticed that 2 there blocking that square there as well. It didn't really matter whether it's this or this. It's the same thing. But 2 has to appear there, and that's it. That's the last digit 2, because we now have 2 in every row and in every column, right, and in every block. So there are no more 2s to find in this particular Sudoku grid. But we can't relax now because we've got all of the other 8 numbers to find. So that's our next that's our next step. Now this block here doesn't yet have a 9. I'll ask you to have a look at the surrounding 9s and see if you can find where the 9 can be placed. I'll twiddle my thumbs for a second while you look for that. Hopefully you found it, because we have 9 up here, which means that these 2 squares can't be digit 9, and we have a 9 down here, which means that these 2 squares can't be 9, and that means that 9 has to be in this 1 empty square that is available there. We also can get digit 9 down here, so again I'm going to ask you to find, remember we're looking, of course we're only looking in the empty squares, don't bother looking in the squares that have digits. We're looking for a 9 somewhere in one of these empty squares. We can do it, we can find it. I'll give you a couple of seconds to look for it. Okay, I hope you found it. So we have 9 blocking down here and 9 blocking across here and across here like this. So that's going to give us a 9 there. Now we can't, there are 2 more 9s to get, and they're somehow in the last available position in this block and in this block. 9s could go here, or they could go here or here, nowhere else. Now what does that mean? It means that if a 9 appears in this square, there will be a 9 in that square there. But if a 9 appears in this square, the other 9 will be in that square there. But we don't know which is which at the moment, so we just have to leave that and come back to it at a later time. And that's what we do in Sudoku. We leave and come back later. It's all about that kind of behavior. What else do we know? Down here, there's a 5 blocking across these 3 squares, so immediately I can see that the 5 must go there. And that means that now there are only 3 empty squares here. So normally if you see 3 empty squares in a row like this, it's a good idea to investigate and see what's missing. So we don't have 1, we don't have 7, and we don't have 8. Now in fact, it doesn't help us a great deal yet. 1, 7 and 8. We have 7 blocking this square, so we know the 7s are here or here. The 1 and the 8 though, we don't know. But now maybe since we know this is 1, 7 and 8, it means that we could work out what goes in these 2 squares, and it might be useful, it might not. I actually don't know, I haven't worked it out, but it might or might not be useful, because we can find out what is left to finish in this row. So now let's see what we've got and what is left for these 2 squares. So do we have a 1? Yes, we've got 1 somewhere here. Do we have 2? Yes. Do we have 3? No, not yet. Not in this row. We don't have 3. This is 1, 7 and 8, remember? So we don't have a 3. So remember that for a minute. Hold that in your brain. Do we have 4? No, we don't have 4. This is 1, 7 and 8. So that means that these 2 squares we now know must be 3 and 4. Must be. This is 1, 7 and 8. We've already got 9, 2, 5 and 6. 1, 7, 8. 2, 9, 5, 6. It means that this square and this square can only be 3 and 4. That's all that's left. So immediately you can see this 3 here. Because we have 3, we know that that can't be 3. We know that's going to be 4. And we know that's going to be 3. Now, if that was too fast for you, because it's the first time you've ever played Sudoku, just rewind, go back, watch it again. I promise you, you'll get it next time. Now, we can take the 3 that we just placed, and block it up. Say 3 blocks up here, 3 blocks across here, and that will give us a 3 in that square there. We still can't get this 1, 7 and 8, but that's okay. We don't need to yet. We'll come back to that later. Okay. What else? I'm trying to find the next easy thing for you. Ah, yeah, this is something we have to discover. Okay, right. So I'm gonna find digit 6 in this block here. Now, if we look and see what we've got 6 blocking across here, and that's it. So we know that 6 is either in this square or this square. But looking up here, it doesn't seem like we can know yet. We've got a 6 here, but that just blocks down here, right? But if you consider this 6 does block down here like this. And then when we look at this block here, this section here, this group of 9 squares, where can the 6 go? Well, it can only go in this square or this square. Can't go anywhere else. Can't go in this square because it's blocked from up there. So what do we know? If the 6 is here, it can't appear in this column, and if the 6 is here, it can't appear in this column. So it means this can't be 6. This square cannot be 6. Whether the 6 is here or here, doesn't matter. And now we've got the 6 blocking across here, as I said before. So we know that that is the position for 6. And now there are 3 empty squares left for this block. The missing numbers are 4, 5 and 7. That's all we need for these 3 squares because we have the other numbers. 4, 5 and 7. And when you see 5 and 7 together in the same column like this, and we consider this square and say, can it be 7? No. Can it be 5? No. Then it must be 4 because that's the only other possibility for this block. And we know that 5 and 7 must be in these 2 squares. And then when we see the 5 blocking across here, we know that that's the 5, and now we can say this is the 7 to complete this block. I hope that was okay, all okay. Like I said, if it was too fast, go back, watch again. 7 now blocks up here, 7 blocks up here, and that's going to put 7 into that square there. And there's only one empty square along here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's 8. We haven't got 8 yet. We do now. Missing numbers in this block for these 2 squares or this row, same thing you'll find, is 1 and 7. We actually have an intersecting 7 from up there, so we know this can't be 7. This is our 7, and this is our digit 1. Still can't get these 3 because nothing's happened here to affect this, so we still don't know that, but that's okay. Don't need to, we'll work around it. In this column we don't yet have a 4, let's put it in there. And then try to decide what comes next. So we can see the missing numbers here are going to be 1 and 6, but we look across here to see if we've got any help, and no, we don't know which is which, but we know that's 1 or 6. And if we know that's 1 or 6, then these 2 squares cannot be 1 or 6. They have to be 4 and 5. And again, we look across here for 4 or 5. No, there's no help there. Okay, and these 2 squares, when we look down this column, we'll find 1 and 8 must fit into these 2 squares here, and we get no help over there. So useless, not giving us any help whatsoever in this particular section. So we have to look somewhere else. Maybe we'll come onto this side, or maybe we'll see we've got 4 numbers missing here. Let's see what 4 numbers are missing, see if that helps us. We don't have 1, we don't have 6, we don't have 8, and we don't have 9. And that will help us. Now this may seem a little bit advanced for you if you're just your first ever day, but hopefully not. This row here needs 1, 6, 8 and 9 to finish the row, okay? And when you look at this square here and say, can it be 1? And the answer is no. Can it be 6? And the answer is no. Can it be 8? The answer is no, because we've got an 8 in this block. So these 1 and a 6 stop this, and the 8 stop this. So 1, 6, 8. The other number for this row was 9. That's going to be a 9. Now we'll take that 9 across here, 9 across here, and 9 up there, and 9 down there. And if you remember, I did point out to you earlier on, I said we had 9s in these squares. I said if 9 is here, 9 will be there. If 9 is there, 9 will be there. So now we can see That is the location for the final digit 9, and that's out of the way now. So where do we look now? Where's the next convenient place to look? Let's have a look. There are 3 empty squares here. I wonder if this is going to lead us to anything. What's missing in this column? We don't have 1, we don't have 3, and we don't have 4. The only thing I can see is that 3 stops that from being a 3. So 3's will be up in these 2 squares there. But the 1 and the 4 I don't know about yet. So that wasn't very helpful. 7 on the other hand, blocks down here, 7 blocks up here, and 7 blocks across there. So we can find a 7 in that square there. That was useful. Okay, now the missing numbers in this block here are 1, 4, and 5. That's what we need to complete this block. Now let's look at this square here and ask ourselves, can it be 1? Yeah, no reason why not. Can it be 4? No, decidedly not. We've got 4 in that column. Can it be 5? No, we've got 5 over here. So if it's not 4 or 5, we know that it has to be 1. And this is the logic that you need to play through the game. Now we see the 5 blocking up here, so we know that's the 5. And we know that's the 4 because that's all we needed. Now we've got 4 going across here and up here like this, which will give us 4 in that square. And now there's just 1 empty square in this row, and that must be for a 1. 1 also blocks across here like this and gives us a 1. Like I say, if it's going a bit too fast, just slow it down. Slow me down. 6 will appear to complete this. Okay, so we've made good progress so far. Now there's this block up here has a few empty squares, but we can work out what goes kind of where. At least we may not place it, but we can work out what goes in these 2 squares, these 2 squares, and those 2 squares, right? So missing from here is 4 and 8. 4 and 8. Do we look across here? No, no help on 4 or 8. Missing from here is what? 5 and 6. And over here, no help. And missing from here is 1 and not 9. No, 1 and can't find you. 1 and 3. Oh yeah. No help from across here. Oh dear, you say. Oh dear, oh dear. So not so useful. But oh look, there's just 1 empty square there that I missed. So let's do that immediately. You've probably been shouting at the screen. If you're shouting at the screen, good. Congratulations. Welcome to watching Sudoku on YouTube. 8 is the last number that we need there. You'll do that a lot. You'll find players on Sudoku at any level will miss things that are really obvious, and especially me. 5 blocking up here, that's a 5. And the last digit here is 6. Now we can take the 6 going up here, 6 up here, and 6 across there, which will give us 6 in that square, and 6 across here, up here, and up there means that now we found our 6, and now there's just 1 empty square left here, and that's for a 5. 5 blocks across here. You see how we're using the digits that we just filled in to help us find the next number. And in fact, I can finish the 5s. 5 across here, across there, up, and up there. So we'll put in the 5 there as well. Now there's just 1 number for this column, and that's a 4. So we'll add the 4. That 4 blocks across here. 4 up here means that's a 4. And I can finish the 4s. Let's do that as well. Why not? 4 going up like that. We'll put the 4 here. People who are interested in speed will realize that it's actually quicker to do that. But I'm not really interested in speed, and you shouldn't be either when you're playing your beginner level games like this. This is an 8 for this column. 8 blocks across here and 8 blocks up there. And that will be an 8. Speed is not something to be concerned about when it comes to Sudoku. Ever, as far as I'm concerned. Not really. Except when you're making videos. 1 blocks across here. That's going to be a 1. That's because YouTube will, you know, everybody will switch off if the video is too long, or YouTube won't promote it if it's too short. That's the only reason to consider speed when you're playing Sudoku. Right now we've got 3 blocking across here as well. There's our 3. And there's not much to get now. There's 1 empty square down here now. That's going to be for a digit 1. And then we have 1 blocking up here. That will give us a 1 there. And now the last number to place here is a 7. And 7 blocks down here. That will give us a 7 here. And now there's just 1 digit for the row, the column, the block, and the entire grid. And that's a digit 8. And I'll put it in and we'll get a nice green pattern. And that's our first beginner level game of Sudoku. Every Monday there are beginner level games, and there's a playlist I'll put up that you can click on and learn how to play the game. If you're still not sure, just watch another video of a beginner level Monday Guardian and that will give you the information you need. Thank you very much for joining me. Come back for chat about politics, life, cats, and anything else that takes my fancy on this channel. Bye bye.